We're living in it.
We're living
Whoa.
in a society.
Yeah, I'll let you just digest that for a second because I don't know, it could be a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you've really rocked my worldview for
I
sure.
did just want to point out I got a little ficus from IKEA.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm a big bonsai
has
fan.
IKEA has a surprisingly good plant selection.
Yeah.
And they change it out frequently.
Yeah, Dana and I went for
And they've
some
got good fake plants
groceries
too.
on Tuesday, and I saw this giant rack of bonsai ficuses, and Dana saw the giant rack of bonsai ficuses, and Dana looked at me because she knew it was coming.
You had me a giant rack.
I'm getting one of those ficuses. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Hello there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of TapCaf Transmissions. I am one of your hosts, Corey, joined as always by my co-host, the effervescent Eckhartsladder. We're calling back to the early days with this one.
You've used that one a lot, though.
I know it's my go-to, but I just haven't done it in a while, so I haven't hit you with an E word. My fluctuant. No, does that work? Are you
that's
emanating
fine.
stuff?
Always.
There you go. So how are you doing? How's it going?
Good. I 20 minutes late because I went to go. Graham, my son, woke up and was looking for a parental figure to snuggle with, and that was me. And instantly fell back asleep.
That's what happens at our age. Not for me. Yeah. I can't sleep at any point. But we had friends staying over for the last few days, and there was like our walls are thick enough that there was snoring that I could hear, but it was like very quiet. But it was enough that I just I couldn't fall asleep. It was
so it was sleeping well?
Very quiet, and it was not.
Why didn't you go down to the basement?
I can't sleep out. Like, I can barely sleep in a bed, let alone on a couch. And our couch, so you have like big snuggleable couch. Our couches are for sitting. Maybe sideways lying, but like it's not a big spread out with a Murphy.
I can fall asleep in a chair though. Like I could.
Yeah,
I think I've told this story before, but Charlie, our mutual friend, came to Halifax once, and we were going downtown like that night, and we were watching Mr. Robot, and he's like, "You mind if I take like a 5-minute nap before we go?" And I was like, "Yep." He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep." Within 35 seconds, he was asleep, sitting on the couch.
Yeah,
like he literally just unplugged his shit.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
No.
All right. Well, what does surprise me is we're at the end of Maul Shadow Lord. Didn't see that coming. So that's the topic of this week's episode. Next week, we are going to have an episode talking about Shadows of Endor by Matthew Stover.
Excited.
But for this week, we've got the final 2 episodes of Maul Shadow Lord and some thoughts on the series as a whole. But with that, what are your overall impressions now that the season is done? Because we are getting season 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm surprised or not, but it did end up kind of becoming another Empire and later Vader hunting Jedi story.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't expecting. I mean, like I thought that was going to be a part of it. I did think maybe we'd get a little bit more in there as well. Thankfully, they did a good job with it. Like the Inquisitor. Sorry.
I was just agreeing with you with your great point.
Okay, you were just the Inquisitors were quite fun. Really fun actually. I think the action scene in episode 7 especially was probably the best they've done like a ground fight in a Clone Wars style TV show. We talked about this a few episodes ago where even though this is still elevated animation, there were times during the bridge fight, for example, where it did really fall back to, okay, we've got a bunch of guys standing in a line, shooting at each other. That was not the case when it came to the fight in episode 7, which was dynamic and interesting and good. I think you pointed out on Twitter that we're starting to get like our number of lightsabers per combatant is getting high. I totally agree. Um,
Yeah,
you
I couldn't
know,
remember if I brought that up last week on the podcast or not, so I'm glad you brought it up, so I can't be held responsible.
I do think they've overdone the double blade a bit. Where like Darth Maul using the double blade should be like there should be risks to it. It should be like hyper aggressive. Same with having one in each hand. Like you leave yourself open, but you pursue. You're on the offensive. Whereas now it's like and we see this every time. We saw this in the in the old Republic cutscenes in the whatever. When you're fighting two people, then you got to bring up the second blade, and
Yeah.
it's the only thing that saves you.
So Kumar in chat is saying Corey hates General Grievous confirmed. Like my rule is 1.5 lightsabers per capita. So I do think in the fight between Obi-Wan and Grievous, he should not be using more than 2 lightsabers. And he doesn't. They cut off the 2 very quickly. But if you're in a Grievous on Hypori situation where he's fighting like 5 or 6 Jedi, they've each got 1 blade. He then has more room to use the 4. It's a ratio that matters. So when you have Maul and 2 other Inquisitors, and they're each using double-bladed lightsabers, that's a 2-to-1 ratio. That's too many lightsabers. And like you even have, I know this was mostly so that he could give the other blade to, like the lightsaber to Devin and have it knock him out of nowhere. But like Maul having to split up his lightsabers and do something else to not have everyone be using the same lightsaber blade all the time. I think that's part of it. And like the fact that it is just the standard kit for Inquisitors, I think is a major part of that, with Inquisitors being such a big part of Star Wars media as like the bad guy with a lightsaber now.
I just think the fights are more fun to watch. Like I think single-bladed lightsaber fights are generally more fun to watch.
Yeah, I do really like the fights in the show. I think they looked cool, but it got to a point where there were just so many blades on screen at once in fights with like, especially once you have Maul, Daki, Devin, and both Inquisitors fighting at the end. It's just blades everywhere and flashing. It's a little too much.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's like you can't follow what's going on. Where like when you have a good, like I've said this before, and I know some people agree and some people don't. One of my favorite lightsaber fights they put out recently is Ahsoka versus Balin.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, I guess, not the one on Peridia, and I think that's their second one. And it is a very slow fight, but
the one
like
at the map.
Yes.
Okay.
The one at the map. I watched it the other day after this came out, actually, just to kind of see how it's stacked up, and it's definitely like there are some fun things in the animation. Like I do like when Maul and Devin are fighting together and their different styles, like that's cool. Even though it's a bit weird that Maul is like he can't walk and then he's like very acrobatic. Did you notice that too?
The legs are such a liability for him. It needs to.
But it's just weird that like his legs will be not working at all, and then like literally the next scene he like Mirror's Edge jumps off a wall, and like does a backflip. But anyway, like I was just watching that fight, and yeah, it's a bit slower, and like I understand the complaints there, but it makes each moment I feel a bit more impactful, especially when I feel like you can feel the tide change a bit more when Balin starts to overpower her. And yeah, I enjoyed that. Not to say that I didn't like the ones in this, because I certainly did. I do think that there is still a lot of room for. I don't want lightsaber creep, like I think you're pointing out as well.
Yeah, I think with Ahsoka and especially the Acolyte, I think the framing of the fights is a little bit better. Where here it is very frenetic, and that is kind of reinforced by just the number of blades everyone always has. Because like it's high numbers of combatants and high numbers of blades per combatant is kind of the big thing. And it does mean that you end up leaning more in these last 2 episodes into the people who don't have lightsabers just kind of feeling like they're there. And I even started thinking like, what do they teach at the Imperial Academy? Is it just like pratfalls, like some Second City improv thing for stormtroopers? They're not learning how to shoot anyone. They're just trying to figure like, oh, what's my cue to fall on the floor and get shot by this like 16-year-old soccer player.
Yeah, he was crazy good with a gun. I also just like I do find it funny how Darth Maul, when he gets mad, he just brings out his ult, where it's like throw
Yeah.
a lightsaber and kill every minion within the
We've exhausted our animation budget for characters for
yeah.
this episode. Let's get rid of them.
Yeah, and I was sad his droid died. I was surprised his droid died because I know how much Dave Filoni loves a silly droid.
Yeah.
I was sad when that I was like, damn, I like that droid. Where like he just had his best like moments getting that little skid thing, and he's like making what's his name? The Lawson and his son are like embracing on the thing, and he's like making fun of them. I was like, oh, that's great. And he gets sliced.
Yeah, he gets sliced and dissolved. Just droid violence is so rarely allowed, and there was even a brief moment of like, oh, is Two Boots going to get it as well? But now you've got Two Boots with them. It's hard to have two droids at once, and I think the Spybot was a little bit more one note. I think we've heard his quips enough. I wasn't too sad to lose him.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's controversial. I'm normally a big defender of the droids in these shows, but he wasn't doing it for me.
I like a grumbling droid, where you can like half understand what he's saying and half not. And Chopper's the best because like you watch Star Wars Rebels, he's saying slurs the whole time.
Yeah.
And like bad ones. Really bad ones. And you can hear it if you listen closely. Yeah, I got a good chuckle out of that. I watched these episodes with Graham, and he very much liked the droid as well.
Oh, so he was probably very upset.
He didn't care.
Oh, okay, good.
He did not care. He's just his reaction at the end of episode 7 when Vader came out. Though I wish I had recorded it. It was so funny because he like Darth Maul and Darth Vader are his favorite characters. And
how many Twitter likes would we have been talking here?
Like at least 30,000.
Are we like at the level of Palpatine laughing and getting reactions to that with the Rise of Skywalker announcement?
Yeah, he's like how the never mind. I'm not gonna. Yeah, he would have. Okay. He was just like, well, so we were sitting on my we were sitting right where I am now. We sit in the chair and watch it. I downloaded a torrent, so it wasn't on shitty Disney Plus, and he like literally stood up on the chair and was like screaming and doing like, he's only 3, so he doesn't know, he can't really express himself well, but he's yelling Darth Vader and doing the breathing. It was very funny.
Yeah, that would have been.
I'm like, like that's a disability that you're mocking, right?
Son, this is not okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a talk about that, buddy.
Well, we got a little bit of fanfare for the Spybot being destroyed, for whichever of the Zabrak wasn't already dead dying, but Rook Cass just kind of unceremoniously killed by Vader, and then that's it. She's done.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I was surprised by that. There's really not a whole lot of people left from the crew. I guess there's no one left except for Riley, the little
Two Boots, Devin, and Maul. Right, that's the cast.
And the little guy.
Oh, Vario, not Varlo.
Yeah. And I mean, well, I'm sure we'll talk about this, but Brender's definitely still alive.
You think Lawson is still alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched it. I think Charlie might have made a video on this, but I'm sure you picked up on this as well. But he very clearly sees Maul push, Master Daki, and like it shows like 6 times him seeing the entire thing happen.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he's going to at some point be captured by the and he walks off into the fog. He takes a couple shoulder shot. Listen, blasters in Star Wars, like shoulder shot.
If you're a good guy.
Yeah, if you're a good guy, it's a joke.
If it hits you in the toe when you're a stormtrooper and it's not set to stun, like it's over for you.
Yeah, go home. Yeah, he walks up into the fog and disappears. For sure, he's alive.
Well, it was a fun moment, I think, a nice, heartwarming conversation between them. Like, son, I know I
I
haven't
like
been
that.
around for a while. See
Yeah,
ya.
I fuck that.
I'm out.
Yeah. I will know I've not been around for a while. Honestly, spent half an hour with you. I
Now
understand my
remember why.
previous decision. Off into the fog.
Now go with the crime lord onto the ship.
It's like when Tom Brady retired for like a bit and had to spend time with his family. He's like, get me back in. Get me back in.
Yeah, so I guess our big cameos for the episode were Dryden Voss and Darth Vader.
Who the fuck was playing Dryden Voss's voice? Like, literally, this sounded nothing like. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be what's his name, but it sounded nothing like the character in the movie.
That is a question that I'm going to ask Wikipedia.
Because it's Paul Bettany, and I didn't expect them to get Paul Bettany, but
Yeah. Let's see. That was Scott White, who has a red name on Wikipedia.
ooh.
So let's Google him. He is Chris Anderson on City Guys. He looks like Jesus. He's an Avowed, known for Borderland, The Invisible Man, D3, The Mighty Ducks, Maze Runner, The Death Cure, the Super Mario Galaxy movie as additional voices.
I like that. I thought you meant he had his like Shinigami Eyes red name. You mean he didn't have
no, he's. I don't think Wikipedia labels how transphobic you are yet.
Well, if you got the extension, we'll do it anytime.
Oh, does that? I thought that was just on social media sites.
No.
Okay. I don't have it plugged in because usually if people are transphobic, they're not very quiet about it.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
I know I'm green is the good one, right?
Yeah.
I know I'm green because Marmar told me. Or I assumed she told me. I just assumed I'm green. Anyways, yeah. So we're on the Lawson Lives hashtag for season 2, and I guess that kind of brings us to the big thing of the show, where there wasn't a lot that like the this is a regular occurrence with TV shows where the end of season 1 is kind of getting to where you know it's going to get when the show starts, right? Like we knew this is exactly where the season's going to end basically from the beginning. The master's going to be dead. She ends up with Maul. And it kind of, you know, that tweet from like, I don't know, 10 years ago, like modern TV shows, like if Surfing Dracula was a show in the 90s, the full season would be Surfing Dracula getting up to surfing hijinks for 20 minutes every week. And if Surfing Dracula came out now, the first season would just be 12 episodes about the origin story of how he got his surfboard.
Waxing his fucking board, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of that I was thinking of. Where like it is, I still enjoyed it, but it is a lot of setup for things that we kind of knew exactly where they were going to end up. But to that end, we have Maul and Master Daki fighting Vader. Maul's like, no, you gotta get angry. This is the only way. You gotta use your emotions. Ultimately decides his emotions weren't good enough, and he kind of shoves Daki into Vader when he decides he's going to run away, which is ultimately a big part of why Daki gets killed. He can't escape the fight. He thinks Maul's there to back him up, and Maul is like, nope. So Devin, now there's this partnership between Devin and Maul that is based on a lie. I've got a video that I'm working on about how Maul isn't really as big in this whole choice thing as he presents, and how he's much more like Sidious than he'd like. But
yeah, he's like, you can do whatever you want. She's like, okay, I'm gonna leave.
As long as it's what I want.
You're actually not gonna leave.
Yeah, so he clearly gets sad when his underlings die in a way that Sidious doesn't. But he's only okay with people making choices when it's the choice he wants. And like I think he legitimately does believe his whole like I don't want anyone else to have this done to them what happened to me by Sidious. But the by Sidious is an important part there. He can do it. That's fine.
Yeah, he I mean, he set her down a dark path, but I mean, like, was the Empire going to find her? Probably eventually, but I think some not chill things are going to happen, and he's going to be partially responsible.
Yeah.
And he does the same thing to Ezra later.
Yeah, and
Kanan.
Yeah, but the way this ends, right, with Devin, how much did they like factor in what we already know about his relationship with Ezra? Does he think he's doing something different here? Was it like, oh, I'll get it right this time? And I
don't know, because I think that Maul liked Ezra as well. I think he's just not a chill dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like you could even say the same about Savage, really. Where he gets worried for Savage and he's upset when he's killed, but he still sees him kind of as an underling as well.
Yeah, like as long as everyone's serving him, then he is kind of protective of them. And he like if he's very insistent on getting the people he wants under his wing, but that it is still like he's willing to manipulate them to get them there. He's willing to force circumstances that way to get them there, and this is going to be at the core of their relationship going forward. So the fact that Lawson might be out there with that information is going to be the big Chekhov's gun over Maul's head. The sort of Chekhov's gun dangling over. It's a lot of mixed metaphors, but yeah. So as Davis is kind of mentioning in the chat, I think one thing that they did really well with the series is having a character like Master Daki that we knew was going to go away at some point, had to, but he lasted a long time. He did a lot of fun stuff, and like it's so tempting to have the get away, I'm going to sacrifice myself so you can leave moment. And they didn't really do that. It was just Maul threw him so far under the bus, and they passed off so many easy opportunities to get him out of the way earlier on.
Yeah, I think he was a fun character. Bro had a lot of energy. He had like 19 moments where he was knocked down and sore and kept getting back up and fighting.
Yeah. One of the better masters to survive and become a prop for another character's development in the modern Star Wars post Order 66 era.
Definitely. Rest in peace, King. Yeah. Master Splinter is what Kelsey and I called him.
And fresh species, now dead.
Yeah. Last one of his kind, presumably. Just joking.
Maybe. We don't know. So with we know we're getting into a bit of a Crimson Dawn arc with the next one. Do you think that Devin is going to end up being as involved in the underworld side of things, or are we going to have two kind of parallel plots here?
That's what I was kind of wondering and was going to ask you. Like, do you think season 2 is going to pick up showing Maul taking down this current boss of Crimson Dawn who gets replaced, or are we going to have a bit of a time jump where he's already kind of fulfilled his duty and is on to the next thing?
I feel like we're going to have like a 3 or 4 year time jump where Devin is like in the middle of Maul teaching her. Maul has proven himself kind of incompetent at most things, so that might be a barrier to Devin learning much from him.
Yeah.
But like Devin, one of the points of tension with the 3 main like protagonist Jedi, where like Maul wants his revenge and is evil, and there's a difference between protagonist and good guy. He is a protagonist in the show, but he is not the show doesn't really make excuses for him as a good guy, which I did also like. But you have Maul
that's evilly smirk after as he's watching her turn evil. Sorry.
Yeah. Like we see how he's manipulated. Like everyone's on board with this. He probably thinks he's a little bit more morally gray than he is. But yeah, so we have Devin wants to help people. Master Daki thinks they can't really do that unless like because they just need to survive right now, and that's their source of tension. Maul is so far on the vengeance train, and he's trying to kind of lure her in with the idea that they might do something against the Empire. But like the reasons for doing that are very different, and the way he finally gets her on board is making her go the revenge route. But how does that line up with the underworld stuff? Like, can he get her in on making the new Shadow Collective or the new Crimson Dawn set up, or is that going to be a source of tension for them?
I mean, it seems to me that they both have similar goals, which is for her, it's revenge against Vader directly. With him, it's Sidious, but I guess the Empire and the people who wronged him more generally. So I guess like he's got to just kind of convince her that making a criminal empire or a criminal like a criminal underworld empire is the best way to gain strength and prepare herself for him. Which I don't know. Like I don't know if she's gonna buy that. And I don't know. Like it almost feels to me like we're going to need to have more than 2 seasons of this show. Also,
yeah. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we're in a 4-season arc or something here. Like this feels like the place where they'd want to address any more major questions with Maul as a character, and I feel like if we don't end with him on Malachor, it's probably a missed opportunity. Even if that does involve a few time jumps between a few seasons. But the nice thing with animation is you can just do that. So
yeah, for sure.
And Daniel Strang is saying he didn't like how Maul just randomly pushes Daki into Vader when they were just fighting side by side. I think this is still in character. Like I think it makes sense because if Maul thought they had a chance of beating Vader, I think he was on board with fighting him and trying to get away afterwards. But once it becomes clear that Vader is just wiping the floor with them, and Maul sees a chance to get away, removing Daki as an influence on Devin and getting the apprentice he's been after all season, I think he takes that chance. Like he's very utilitarian in this sense with when he's willing to throw people under the bus. Like he was working with Daki because that was the way that they could all get away from the Inquisitors and Vader, but now that's not happening. He has his escape route set up. If he can get out without Daki involved, so much the better. If Daki can just be a distraction, I don't think he really minds that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a good point. He's definitely a more nuanced character as well than he was when when we first met him in 1999, where he's not a good guy, and he's not even anywhere close to a good guy, but he's not kind of, he's not also evil for evil's sake, like Palpatine is, where Palpatine will Palpatine will just do evil shit for fun.
Yeah.
Like I posted this tweet, and it went really viral of the picture. Someone was talking about Darth Maul and Anakin.
The episode 1, like the speeder coming in.
Yeah, they zoomed in. It was kind of a funny look at Maul, and I said, as an aside, I gotta love Maul trying to run over a child just for the love of the game. He had no clue who Anakin was.
Yeah,
and that's true. I don't think he's quite necessarily at that level anymore. Like now, would he avoid Anakin if it meant missing his target? No.
Yeah.
Would he necessarily move out of the way? Probably not. But he's not like, I don't get the idea that like he's purposely trying to inflict pain on the average person in the galaxy, but he's happy to do so if it helps him gain more power.
Yeah, like he wants power himself, and he's very like the strong do what they want kind of thing. But he's also upset if someone else does that at his expense. Like I do like how the show was able to add some, like, show how he became how he is, why he acts the way he does, in terms of like his desire for revenge against Palpatine and everything. But even with him being the main character of the show, it's not trying to justify anything he's doing. Like he can have these different motivations for him, and there is some cognitive dissonance to that. But it's cognitive dissonance that the show is aware of, even if Maul himself is not.
Yeah.
And this can be something that Star Wars fans struggle with when it's in the media, because it's like a character being
Totally.
wrong about something, even one of their own perceptions in universe, when
Mhm.
so often people just kind of take that stuff at face value.
Yeah, like there are people who will come away from this and say, "Okay, Maul was just misunderstood."
And
Like
that's wrong.
missing the entire point. Like usually when people act evilly, like there are exceptions. Like Palpatine is evil for fun, but like the majority of people who act evilly have their good intentions behind it.
Yeah.
Like Anakin, we had a whole movie about that with Anakin, and like at the end of it, he just wanted to save his wife and not have more people die. And like, okay, that's a good intention. And Maul too is like, yeah, that shitty thing happened to me, shouldn't happen to anyone else.
Unless I do it
But
too.
there's probably with both those characters, there's probably a less shitty way to go about things, and they didn't have the personal strength to do it or whatever else. And like that's part of the lesson, and maybe that will even be kind of where Maul ends up later on, kind of realizing that. But if not, some people on Twitter won't get it, and that's okay.
I don't know. I feel like Maul is more of a Walter White kind of thing, where like a
Mm,
shitty situation made him who he is, but he embraced that, and we
yeah,
see him thinking he's acting in some kind of greater good, but
yeah.
fundamentally his motivations uh, are what they are, and he's still doing this for his own self-aggrandizement. And I'm not necessarily comparing like the depth of the writing quality between Maul's arc in Star Wars: The Clone Wars to Shadow Lord to Rebels to Breaking Bad, but I think it's a similar type of
Mhm,
thing where like we can have like there can be these different layers to the character. And I think it's very distinct from like even though there are a bunch of people saying like, oh well, Maul is actually a good guy now because they don't understand, like they don't seem to grasp what's going on in the show or what the show is even trying
mhm.
to do. I think it's a very different reason for that than say with Thrawn, where there's like Chiss Twitter who takes the Ascendancy trilogy like, oh well, he's presented as a good guy here, and those other books don't count. When like even like Zen is trying to kind of whitewash him intentionally, and it is
Mhm.
portraying a different version of the character for that, but still intending it to build towards the character that exists later. But in a way where he never necessarily like he kind of Zan is weird because he loops around to thinking like the character wasn't actually evil to begin with. And I think
Yeah,
that's very different from what we're getting with Maul here, where it's like
totally.
you're explaining his origin and how he got how he was, but in a way that's a reason, not an excuse, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a very different dynamic.
Mhm.
Just
No, I
Twitter can
agree.
come at us again if they're upset about that. You guys have no fucking clue what's wrong with your character.
But he's got a gay twink boyfriend now, so have you considered that? I love Eli, for the record.
I enjoyed those books way more than you, but
Yeah.
I think this is something Zan always does with his characters, and I'm sorry, the fascist that wants to protect his people, that's every fascist. That's what they think their motivation is.
Just Twitter when they listen to a translated Hitler speech.
Well, I did a tweet like years
I remember
ago
it.
that
Yeah,
was
I remember
like,
it.
see the different. What you don't understand about Thrawn is, unlike all the other fascists, he's trying to protect his people from the outside enemy, and
Mhm.
it started getting a bunch of interactions again. So I've been reminded of this, and it's a whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I've finished my rant.
Brother.
So where's Shadow Lord ranking for you on the hierarchy of animated shows so far? We talked about this a
For
little bit at the
seasons or
start,
in
but
general?
let's do let's do in general, and then if we want to get a little bit more
I
granular.
mean, it might be number 2. I really liked it. Hmm. Okay, so just like the big 4, I guess. Like we're not so just Bad Batch, Clone Wars, Rebels, and this. Am I
Yeah, we'll just
missing?
stay within this animation style family. We won't include like
And I guess there's
Resistance or
Resistance.
Ewoks or
Okay. Okay. Um. Yeah, like I don't know. For me, like the Clone Wars is a tough one because so much of it I find really shitty.
yeah,
Not and it's not never quite unwatchable. Um, but it's probably number 4 for me.
yeah. I agree.
So I'll put that right up there. That's number 4. Uh, I think we might differ on this because I think you have Bad Batch at number one. I have Rebels at number one. And then for me, it's a question of whether I like this or the Bad Batch more. I don't know. Like, I think I like the Bad Batch does manage a lot of. It does have a lot of fat, but I don't always hate that. Like, I think it's good that we get to spend time with the characters doing other things. Um, that's tough. I think maybe I'll put the Bad Batch at number two, just because, and it's unfair to Maul because the Bad Batch had three seasons to flesh out characters. I ended up really liking them, and I do like how the Bad Batch ended up making some interesting connections to even like the sequel trilogy era and the Mandalorian, which were maybe never explored as well as they could have with like the Mount Tanta stuff. But yeah, I think for me it goes Rebels, Bad Batch, this Clone Wars.
Yeah, like I think overall I do agree. Like I think Rebels overall I think is my favorite. I think Bad Batch at its best is the best.
Sorry,
Yeah.
someone in chat asked.
There you go. But yeah, I like peak Bad Batch more than peak Rebels even.
Okay.
And like by seasons I think like 3 and 4 of Rebels, like late Rebels is probably like the best as a package. But honestly, so far, if it were a situation where it's like I am going to be given a random episode of one of them to watch, and I don't know what episode, I just know it's going to be a random episode of one of these 4 shows, I think Maul comes out on top there because I don't think there's a weak episode. Like I think
no, there's definitely not.
There's a chance you end up with like an early season Rebels episode that's not as strong, or one of the mini Naboo Clone Wars episodes, or one of the weaker Bad Batch episodes. But I think like in terms of just lows, Maul doesn't have the same lows that some of the other series have.
I agree. For me though, and like I've been over this before, I think that's a really interesting metric, by the way, on how to measure it. For me, like I don't know, I just prefer a longer show that does end up having those lows.
Okay.
Because like I think that's a TV show and a movie.
Yeah.
But I think that's an interesting point.
But I mean, even with like season 2 or 3 of the Bad Batch, I feel I'm not referring to like lows as being like the episodes that are typically referred to as filler. Because there's the one where they're like trapped in the cave or whatever on the planet in the Bad Batch. That's like a filler episode in season 2. It's got to be 2, where like it's Tech and Omega that are off alone. I think that's a good episode, even though it's one that people call filler. But I think there is like some of the earlier, like Ezra simping for Sabine while getting bullied by
the Mandalorian. Any Mandalorian episode in Rebels stinks, in my opinion.
Yeah. So
except for maybe the first one.
Yeah. So I think overall Maul is ending up a bit higher than I expected it to when it started. I am excited for season 2, but I think like there's points where like Rebels late seasons I think beat out this season as a show, and I'll kind of have to see where it lands after season 2.
Yeah. Anything else you want to discuss? The only thing we didn't talk about the celebration stuff, which I think both of us kind of wish we'd been more prepared for that, because I probably 2027 might have been a celebration that I could have actually been to.
Yeah.
So that sucks, and it seems like it was done really poorly.
Yeah. So it was like it's kind of a lottery system, waiting in line to get to the tickets, but there's a purchase limit of 20.
20.
Like one person can buy 20, so there's like immediate scalping going on. I don't know that I necessarily would have been able to commit to it anyways. And I do want to do a convention before I retire. And this seemed like it would probably be the most likely one I'm able to do, because I doubt I'm going to be able to do like 2 years from now in whatever international event they do, and maybe 4 years when they do another North American one. But unless like 2029 is Celebration Toronto, that'd be about it. But
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe TapCaf will get invited to the main stage as a big event, one of them, and we'll get to go for free. No?
I will apply for a press pass. They do have press passes. I was supposed to go to my first Star Wars celebration in 2020, like the COVID year.
Mm-hmm.
EA offered me a ticket, and I was like, okay, sure. And then obviously didn't happen.
Yeah.
So
the worst thing to happen from COVID was Justin missed his chance at celebration. Yeah, I guess you've never gone, have you?
Nope. And I've never been to any convention really, and that was when I only had one kid, so it was a lot easier to say, Kelsey, like, take my child.
There was another time you said that, and it was more private. But
yeah.
There was like Halifax Comic Con, I think, overlapped with one of the trips me and Charlie were there. We considered going, but we just didn't.
I was at Comic Con for like a day once, Halifax Comic Con. It seemed cool, but I was there like really late one day, and yeah, I keep meaning to do HalCon because it's supposed to be very fun.
I should make some like Thrawn's Revenge merch and go wearing a Thrawn's Revenge t-shirt to Ottawa Comic Con and see if anyone knows what that means.
It's a good idea. Oh, for sure they will.
Well, yeah, I think that's the Star Wars news for now. Other than the Fortnite game modes, which the X crew minus me are going to be playing in a couple minutes on YouTube.com/X2.
Wait, you're not coming tonight?
I don't believe so. I might be on later, but
I didn't know that.
I said it in the chat. That some people don't read the chat.
Was it when I was sleeping? Because usually I'm pretty good at reading chat.
It might have been. Well, there's been all the Star Fox conversations today. In the middle of that. So
yeah,
it's been a big eventful thing. But we've had people here for the last few days, so we're gonna watch Survivor. I'm just gonna not neglect Dana.
Understandable. I just neglect my wife, but it's a good choice.
Because we didn't even have trivia this week, and that's usually our go and do something night, and then tomorrow, like Sunday, I've got to do a thing. Like I agreed to do a stream, so I'm gonna be yeah. So
all right,
we'll see. I might join later on, but that's gonna do it for TapCaf. Thank you for listening, everyone.
We'll see you later.
Shadows of Mindor next week. Guaranteed, we're reading the book and doing a podcast Thursday night. And then I'm going to have many Smirnoff Ices on an X2 stream. I promise you, Justin.
Go. Yeah, I love to hear it. I'm not worried.
Now I'm worried. All right, bye, everyone.